Hello students, this is Mrs. Miller, and the purpose of this video is to show you how to respond to a constructed response item, specifically when the question is asking about the central idea. So this question says, how does the writer develop the central idea? Support your answer with details from the text. There are some sentence stems for you already right here. So in this sentence, we're going to restate the question and put our answer. This is a detail from the text, this is another detail from the text, and this is our concluding sentence. So I like to use Christina Smekens' Yes Ma'am method of responding to a question. So this stands for me, so you're coming up with your own thing here. This sentence is for author. This one is for author because we're getting these two details from the text, and this one is for me. So again, how does the writer develop the central idea? I'm going to be referring to the graphic organizer that we completed so that I can see what the central idea is, and I know that the author used these details to develop the central idea. So let's start with our first sentence. The writer develops the central idea. I'm going to put a very general response in many ways. By putting a general answer like this, it will be very easy for me to find text evidence that goes along with the central idea, and that will help me with these two sentences here. So the writer develops the central idea in many ways. The text states, I'm going to go back to the text, and I'm going to look at some of the supporting details here to decide what I'm going to put in that second sentence. I'm going to write, the text states that when Kaepernick took a knee during the playing of the national anthem, most of the fans on hand booed him. So what I did in this sentence is I took part of what the central idea was and I have part of a supporting detail because that's just how the author started to develop the central idea. Let's go back to the graphic organizer and find another supporting detail that goes with the central idea. I'm going to use this detail right here. The crowd booed Kaepernick before each of his 16 snaps. So I have my second detail here. The text also states that the crowd booed Kaepernick before each of his 16 snaps. And so now I'm going to wrap it all up. How do these two details show the way in which the author develops the central idea? I'm going to explain that right here. I'm not going back to the graphic organizer at this time because this comes just from my own head. So here's my final sentence that explains and wraps everything up. These details show the way in which the author develops the central idea by showing that Kaepernick did something that wasn't very popular and has received some backlash for it. So now I'm going to read through my entire response and make sure it makes sense and that I'm going to make sure that I answered the question asked. How does the writer develop the central idea? Support your answer with details from the text. The writer develops the central idea in many ways. The text states that when Kaepernick took a knee during the playing of the national anthem, many of the fans booed him. The text also states that the crowd booed Kaepernick before each of his 16 snaps. These details show the way in which the author develops the central idea by showing that Kaepernick did something that wasn't very popular and has received some backlash for it. Okay, I see a couple of things that I would like to fix here. So I am going to add why he took a knee because I think that's important with the developing of the central idea. So Kaepernick took a knee during the playing of the national anthem to protest police violence and racism. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. I also want to have some better word choice down here. I see that I use the word show here for my sentence starter and right here. And that's just not good word choice. So I'm going to tweak this sentence a bit. These details show the way in which the author develops the central idea by explaining. So I'm going to make that change. By explaining how Kaepernick did something that wasn't very popular and has received some backlash for it.